What's going on, everybody? I am Greg Dowd. I am your host of the Tinker Tribe podcast. Welcome to the show tonight. I am back from some traveling last week and went to go help a friend install a Sol-Ark power system up in Virginia. And it was pretty nonstop. So we got there like Saturday and then um, Saturday of the previous week and got there pretty late at night. As soon as we got there, basically got my workout in for the day because I hadn't done that yet. And then we set up camp in my buddy's basement over there in Virginia. And then just crashed and got ready to work on this project. This was a 14 kilowatt solar array that he had installed himself on some posts with a like an aluminum rack mounting system. And so we had previously come out there a year earlier to work on just a system for one of the houses, and there was a miscommunication when we first got out there about how the kind of the scope, I guess, the scope of the project, and then where all the wiring and everything needed to be placed. Because my buddy that I was working with, this was like a DIY project, and you know, did a lot of the front load work for us before we came over there and got the site prepared and put in all his posts and put in the panels and the mounting hardware and all that stuff. And so uh and then ran wires, trench, and ran wiring to meet up with the locations where the power was going to be fed to and all that stuff. So is my buddy Solo Miner. We met while I was blogging on the Steemit platform back in the day. And so we stayed in contact with each other and went out there this past week. So I got playing in the upper, I guess, left hand corner. If you're watching this, this is something I'm trying out as like a feature for the project of the week or something like that on the podcast. And have a little media piece playing from a project that I've done. So yeah, this little thing that's playing up in the corner. This was me flame using a flamethrower to put a bunch of holes in some weed cloth that we have for a 8 by 20 foot garden bed or garden area. It's going to be a pretty large garden area. And so yeah, I got that done over this weekend so that we could get some stuff planted in that garden area. Right now we're getting some storms here where I'm at here in northern Alabama. Uh, don't know how bad they're gonna get, but we'll see. So I may not hang out for very long tonight, but just wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of an update. I've been gone for the week and am back, so that's why I did not do a live stream last week. But yeah, really good experience getting out there to finish up the project that we had started over there at my buddy's place, and um, had a successful install of the Sol-Ark, the 15K Sol-Ark power systems. And it's really cool. Like there's an app that you can get for it, and like a virtual portal for like monitoring the system and seeing how much sun you're collecting in a day, what's your power usage, how much did the solar panels, how much energy did it take from there to run the loads in your house, so everything that you're powering in your house. um, so I logged into that today, and it looks like it collects quite a bit of data, uh, at least on like the metering side of things. So yeah, you can plot this over time. You can see the trends in the light output and the solar output of your panels and all this kind of stuff. So really impressed with the Sol-Ark system there. And I know there's probably some cheaper options out there. I know we were talking to Sean, it seems like these things have changed so much in the past year. I was talking to Tyler, the buddy I went up there uh, with, because like this system was kind of specked out for my buddy in the previous year, and since then they've come up with these like rack mounted batteries that are pretty nice. And then the other charge controller inverters out there, I think there's an EG4 product that the Sean Mills was talking to me about, that's a pretty good uh, price in comparison to the Sol-Ark system. But what we did like on the Sol-Ark product was that the manual for the product is spelled out really nicely for you, and in English that you can read. And I don't have any experience with some of the other charge controller inverter products out there, but I can't say that about their manual. It looked like it was pretty straightforward and had legible English in there, understandable English. We had previously worked on attempting to parallel a couple of charge controller inverter systems that were low frequency inverters, and I think they were from maybe, I can't remember exactly the manufacturer, but the it may have been Sun Gold. But I have to I have to go back and look it up. But anyway, we attempted to parallel them to give like 12 kilowatts of output, and the instruction manual wasn't very clear on that thing. It was kind of written in a broken English. So um but yeah, this solar product, it was a lot better as far as instructions go. So yeah, we were out there all week and kind of went from where we had left off there with the project, and had to like make some new wiring for some of the panels, like rewire some of the strings that we had set up, and um, had to do a lot of wiring into um, one house, because there were two panels. There was a panel that ran upstairs, and then there was a panel that was downstairs. Had an outdoor transfer switch that fed both the panels. So they were on separate transfer switches, but one was for upstairs and one was for downstairs. We didn't quite know why it was wired that way, but anyway, we had to come up with a solution for that, and basically using some of these lug connectors, uh, be able to join up some of the wiring so that the load could be split and divided between two panels. So that was one of the biggest challenges, I would say, of the project, was getting all that figured out. And then uh, and then the other house was fairly straightforward. We had to add another another breaker into a like sub panel for the loads uh, that would go and feed his workshop. So his one house that a lot of the solar is going to is going off and feeding a workshop. Um, so yeah, it was a really good project overall, and it took you know, I guess we got there on Saturday and we didn't leave until I think we left on Friday of that week. So we had Saturday and Sunday back at home before we started the work week again. Um, and yeah, Friday just kind of went over the system with my buddy up there. Showed him, the shutdown, startup, and shutdown procedures. We did get some issues with one of his breakers would be tripped by the air conditioning system because of the way we wired in a transfer switch, and it didn't quite have the large enough breaker to be able to handle the AC getting kicked on all the time. So there was he's going to talk to a local electrician, but we also talked about maybe getting him some more solar panels because he had like 5 kilowatts running to his house, and his main house there had most of the energy consumption, and so unfortunately, the way everything was wired, it was uh, only a single strand running into a single pair of wires running into the Sol-Ark system, and they want you to split that up into different strings so that you don't uh, exceed the voltages there. Uh, so yeah, we talked about like setting up another array that would be closer to his house. Like the distance, the run on the wiring was a really great distance as well. So, um, so yeah, we talked about like it might be good to get him on some more panels. I think basically at the other house he's running probably uh close to how many, like 10, close to 10 kilowatts on one house, and then the other house is like 5,000 watts or 5 kilowatts. Um so yeah, another five I think, or 5 or 6 kilowatts would be good for what he's got going on over there, and um would help run a lot more of his house off of the solar. um but it's all about like kind of how you do your power consumption a lot with the solar stuff. So if you watch your energy consumption, and now he can look at that through an app that, or the Wi-Fi that's connected to the Sol-Ark, that he can monitor the power output of that. So all in all, it was a good install, and I guess we learned that uh, for one, it's taking on a project with a friend that's out of state. That was a challenge because that if something goes wrong and my buddy can't figure it out, then he's gonna have to get like a local electrician guy to come out there and help, and until the next time we can make it up there, because it's not a short drive for us to get to where he is. Um so yeah, if we help with other projects in the future, we talked about sticking more locally in our area and helping people out around here. But successful project, and he's currently running some of the stuff off of solar, some of his house off of solar, and a custom lithium iron phosphate battery bank. And so I was basically the assistant the whole time. I was watching what my buddy Tyler, he is uh, a lot more familiar with all the electrical side of things, and has set up a few systems for himself. And so he's way more comfortable doing and helping with all the wiring and everything like that. So I soaked up as much of that as possible, but you know, uh, learned a lot through that process. I made a lot of MC4 connections. Learned how, to set up these batteries if you have a larger battery system. So you get the proper amount of voltage at the end. The way you connect all the batteries, he did like three of the cells in parallel, and then wired them up in series to create a like I guess it's around 54 volts of lithium iron phosphate battery bank that would connect to the Sol-Ark. So yeah, just did that. Was the assistant. Thought we were gonna get some cool footage, but it was pretty much balls to the wall the entire time I was out there. We worked from, when we got up in the morning and until 11 or 12 sometimes, and I crashed in a hammock, and my buddy crashed on a cot that he had in his basement, and we were camping out in the basement. And so anyway, yeah, we were uh just kind of grinding through the project and getting through the whole week of getting everything installed, and got her done, man. We got her done in some good time. So glad we were able to help out with that project, and I am happy that I was able to be involved and help my buddy out there, up there in Virginia, to get some power going. That he often gets grid out events where he's at, and so the next time the grid goes down, that his solar power system will kick in, and it should be pretty seamless. We tested that out with cutting off the grid power while the Sol-Ark was up, and it just takes over, and you don't really notice that the power goes out, and that could be a bad thing too, because when the power goes out, that he may not be aware that the Sol-Ark has taken over, because everything in his house will still be powered. So it does give you the state of like charge on your batteries and everything like that. So I guess that would be one indicator. And then if that got too low, the batteries got too low, and the power consumption was drawing him down too much, you'd be able to see it on his little tracker device, and seeing the output of that. But uh may not give an audible warning otherwise. But there may be some stuff in the Sol-Ark that might be able to alert you that you're now off the grid power shut down, and you're fully operating off of just the solar and batteries, which if you have all of your appliances and everything wired into the device, that and you're running completely off the batteries, you got to really watch what you're powering because it's not going to be able to provide, or you're going to have a limited amount of battery life in there. And if you get cloudy days or something like that and you're going about normal power consumption, then you're going to deplete those batteries pretty quickly, and there's not going to be enough sun to help replenish the batteries on everything. So it really has to go to like, what do you really need to use? And I wouldn't use anything like your oven, because that, like, as soon as that turns on, that draws a ton of power. You know, central AC. I know, like, power goes out. You may, limit your time to using the central AC only when the sun is out, and then turning, not using any heavy loads or anything like a clothes dryer or anything like that, or a washer. Um, but to conserve your power, if you go totally off the grid and you got to rely on the sun, um, instead of cooling the entire house, maybe you cool a room on a mini split, which he did install a mini split for his basement. So I mean, those are some things that you got to come to realize. If you do get a power system, you're not going to be able to, unless you want to spend a lot of money on putting in a fairly substantial energy storage, uh, that you aren't going to be able to consume power the way you regularly do on a day-to-day basis. We have this grid power, and it's pretty magical that we can sit here and hang out and be able to power all this stuff, but it actually is taking quite a bit of energy to keep everything running, especially in most uh, standard US homes now. So when you talk about all your central AC systems and all your lights that you have going on, and maybe pumps you have working, um, workshops and all that kind of stuff, like, you'd be surprised, unless you go and get some batteries and some solar power and start looking at the state of your batteries and seeing that, wow, I'm really using quite a bit of energy. Um, so yeah, I mean, you really got to consider those things with any kind of power system you have. And I have said for a long time that, it's a good thing to have backup power. And but to get into solar, like, the panels have become really cheap. But uh a lot of the cost is going to come from getting a battery bank and getting the inverter and doing all the wiring and getting that all set up. So like, a good first start would be to, like, get something smaller, you know and put it out in a garage to help power a shop or something, or have some lights that you can use with it, or power of some deep freezes. Basically, consider it like a backup power, like you would keep a generator, um, as a backup power system, and have it run some, you know, small things in your shop or in your house to keep food preserved and things like that. So that's one way you could get started in it pretty quick. And I do think, like, if you are uh gonna have a solar power generator and system, that it is good to understand how all that stuff operates, and start small and start learning it, because you're gonna need to troubleshoot some things probably in the field. And then it's good to have some of those some of those skills under your belt, just by starting small and kind of going from there. uh, and you'll be able to understand the concept of what everything is doing in the system as you go forward. So So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about tonight. I'm gonna jump off here early, but I just wanted to get on and do a quick little broadcast because that's where I was last week, and that was a project that I was working on, and I will still playing around with my laser engraver. Still got some stuff going on with that, and so stay tuned for some videos probably coming out about playing around more with the laser engraver and also doing some 3D printing again. Gonna change from the laser engraver over to the 3D printer here probably within this week, and we're gonna do some 3D printing. So um, be on the lookout for that stuff. I have been wanting to do some more filming of what we do in the prosthetic shop, but it has been really busy there recently. So I've been putting out those shorts on, how we build braces at the prosthetic shop, prosthetics and orthotics, making braces for kids with disabilities and stuff. So we'll see if it slows down a little bit. Maybe I can capture some stuff on like a Friday or whatever and upload it as content to the channel. But other than that, yeah, just been doing a lot of planting and gardening recently after I got back, and that's the next big project is to tackle the big garden and get it all planted before it starts getting too hot out here, and also got the kind of the go ahead to plant some things around where I work. So do a little guerrilla gardening in area at work that is like partially in the shade, but actually mostly in the shade. But I think that will help during the summertime. And maybe I could grow some cooler weather, maybe herbs or lettuces or broccolis or cabbages or something like that over there, and gonna kind of try some stuff and do that as kind of a guerrilla garden and come out there and I guess bring a watering can over there and water all that stuff whenever I'm there for work, and maybe grow some food at the workplace since we're in charge of the landscaping. So um, which I think is pretty cool, is that we get to take care of it, and then nobody's coming in there. I know nobody's going to be coming in there and like spraying herbicides or anything like that. So, so that'll be cool. But anyway, guys, I am going to jump off for the night. It was a quick update stream on what I've been up to and one of the recent projects, and I hope to have my buddy Solo Miner come on the podcast so that we can talk about the project. And he's got like uh, more pictures of the system and the solar panels out in the field and everything. I actually might be able to share with you guys one of uh, the pictures from what we had going on out there. So let me see if I can pull up my Twitter real quick, and I can show you guys. This is a really poor quality image there, but it's basically a screenshot of the uh it's just a screenshot of the solar array there at his property. So one of the pictures I got posted up there on social media, and that is the project we worked on. It was like a 14 kilowatt total solar array, approximately split between two houses, getting that power. So fun project, good learning experience, and you know, see if we can help out more people and do this for helping out more folks. I think we probably would want to have a local electrician help us with getting all the wiring and stuff set up so that it can meet the local codes for people and all that kind of stuff. So, uh, but yeah, learned a lot during that process, and happy to be involved in that project. So, all right, guys, we'll catch you later. If you got value out of this and you appreciated the content, please give me a like and share it around. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.